My name is Kiamber. I am a registered nurse, and I decided to join Chibby's. I call it a challenge and a lifestyle change. uh, and so, let me just get right into it.
Yeah, so pretty much just explain like what were some of the problems that you've had before working? As obviously you're working as a nurse, long hours. So what were some of the challenges that you've had on your journey before getting started?
Um, the biggest challenge for me was actually just in taking care of myself. I put everyone else before me. They always say as nurses, it's in our nature just to go ahead and do for everyone else and not really take care of ourselves. But then I found that in me not taking care of myself, then I couldn't really take care of my patients either. And in me not being there for myself, my energy was drained. I couldn't think clearly. Um, I was actually more susceptible to getting sick. So um, that's really what pushed me to make a change and to um, actually really commit this time. Because before I could try, but my commitment wasn't there.
Mm, okay, so it's like you tried and the commitment wasn't there. So what would you say made you want to commit, like to take that decision to really start working with me? Like what was that thing that kind of brought you over the edge? That enough is enough point, like I always say.
The enough is enough point was in talking to one of my patients and realizing that I can teach them, but if I'm not living it,
Mm,
then what's the point in teaching? Um, if people aren't going to see the results in my own life, then how is it that they can go and apply what I say to their lives?
mm. Okay, so it's like you want to lead by example, not just the word. Okay,
Exactly.
the beautiful.
Exactly. We're all leaders. It's just how do we choose to lead?
Mm, perfect. You dropping wisdom right now. so, so kind of explain that, because obviously this isn't like your first go around trying to make a change. So kind of explain what difference have you noticed from what you've been doing here working with me versus the other things that you've tried, whether it's on your own or different things out there.
So I am actually one of the people that um, I will try and do things on my own before I actually seek for help.
Mhm.
And especially because of my background, because I know nutrition, I know exercise, I know the human body, I try to apply my own knowledge and take it and just rework it in myself. But um, I needed someone to hold me accountable and have structure. And even though I can put structure together for other people, sometimes it's a little more difficult to put structure together for myself. And so you provided the structure, you provided the accountability, and even though you allowed me to work at my own pace and provided me with knowledge and provided me with truth and motivation for me to continue to keep going. And then it was a combination of saying, okay, this is a team. We're a team. It's not just a one-sided thing.
Beautiful. You mentioned a powerful thing there is the team aspect. Is like you showed up for yourself, I showed up the other end, put those forces together, right? Because I always say I'm not Houdini, I'm not a magician, even though I like to say I work some magic. But the thing is,
Mm-hmm.
like, this all came from within you, and essentially we just said, okay, let's put this energy towards the tools, the knowledge, accountability systems, and get what we want to achieve here. So yeah, let's talk about that because obviously everyone wants to know, like, all right, so what was the experience? What were some of the results, right? How did this affect
So the results are one, I actually um, put my nutrition as a priority. I
you?
don't um, skip meals as often as I used to. I don't, um, if you want to say, cheat or continue with my bad meals as often as I used to. I still give myself permission to have the things that I want and I like. Um, and I just found an amazing brownie recipe that is actually a little bit healthier for you. And it was, I mean, I found out I didn't have to completely take everything away in order to lose weight, get in shape, and overall just feel better about myself. I have more confidence now. I'm, yes, I'm getting compliments left and right, and that's not the biggest deal. but it's confirmation for me that yes, I am doing well and I'm going in the right direction. And so um, I've lost so far a total of 19 pounds, um, about 8 inches. Uh, I've lost inches off my waist, my arms, my thighs. Pair of jeans that I haven't worn in about 3 years. They actually fit and were a little loose on me. Um, I'm stronger, and in places for me, I lift patients for a living. And I lifted a patient by myself last night and didn't end up hurting my back.
Beautiful.
So it's been hard because we think that quitting is easy and continuing is hard, but either way, either way you go, it's going to be hard. It's just what road do you want to choose? And I realize that I can still choose me.
And that's a beautiful thing is you bet on yourself. And it's like you said, you made the decision. It's like, you got to choose your heart, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
not doing anything is like the complications that may come down the road. And then doing
Mm-hmm.
something, it's hard until it's not. Because would you say that where you're at now, do you feel like it's easier than when you first started?
In some ways, yes, and in other ways, no, because old habits are hard to break. You just have to continue to make the choice to say yes to what's good for you. And so it's easier to say yes, but it's still hard to say no to the other things.
Mhm. So it's like I would say it's a constant battle of what you see is good for you and what you see is not in your favor. And you always have to make those decisions throughout your journey. So
Right,
now you're betting more on yourself than you did in the past, right?
right,
Okay.
right.
So, you had some incredible results. 19 pounds down, we're saying 8 inches. We're talking, fitting into a pair of pants that you haven't in a while. And you even mentioned it was looser, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, that's just the physical. And that's a beautiful thing. Now, what were some of the non-physical, I call them the non-scale victories that you've
Mm-hmm.
experienced? Could you share some of those?
For sure. My non-skill victories are um, my overall outlook on life, and realizing that in me taking care of myself, it's not just about my body, it's about my mind too. And so a lot of the things that I used to do in terms of taking care of my mental health and my spiritual health, I stopped doing. um, so now if a song comes on and I want to sing and dance, I'll sing and dance. If I feel emotionally overwhelmed, instead of sticking in that spot, I will sit down, I'll journal, I'll draw, I'll write, I'll color, I'll do whatever I need to do in order to get myself out of that negative space and get back to, if you want to say, back to reality. And reality isn't a state of always being happy, but just saying, even this might be a circumstance, but it's not my whole world. And so it's been a 180 in my thought process, in where, because of, if you want to say, the whole pandemic and everything that's been going on, yeah, my job is hard, and there are days where I come home completely drained, but hop in the shower, throw on some tunes and sing to the top of my lungs, and I'm I'm good. I'm ready for bed and I can sleep easy.
Beautiful. So what I'm hearing is it's awesome. It sounds like you you have a new way of, I would say, living, since
Mm-hmm.
like you're more grounded. You sounds like you're more present and even more free, right? Free
Mm-hmm.
to express yourself, and you don't let like negative thoughts or negative circumstance really hold much weight in your life as you may have used to. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Hey, that's a whole new reality, really, because you probably you're living it night and
Mm-hmm.
day difference where things that affect you in such a high extent in the past don't really hold you down as much.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful. So what do you think? Like, do you feel like this journey that you've gone so far, do you feel like it's something you sustain? Because I'm big on sustainability. So do you do you feel like this is something you can continue?
I do. I do. I mean, it was a, for all intents and purposes, it was a short commitment of 12 weeks. But um, even though I kept pushing back my testimony video for a couple weeks, um, I've continued. And even though, I haven't been receiving a lot of the, um, the motivational quotes and things like that, I still have them. And it's still things that I can go back to. And even, coming up with motivational quotes of my own and being able to take what you've given and then apply it to myself. But then, even if it's something where I just have to tweak a couple of words um, or a meal plan or a workout, then it's something that I can apply to myself and I can use. And I have been, even though we're not in consistent contact anymore.
That's the beautiful thing. That's I say is like I taught you how to drive, and now you're driving for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm.
You got the steering wheel, you're back in control. So, what would you say? Because obviously, there's some people out there who are watching this who may be in that same position you were when you first started working with me, who are kind of like on that fence. What
Mm-hmm.
would you say to someone who's like trying to make that decision?
I'd say bet on yourself, you're worth it. And the time, the effort is worth it. And worrying about the cost, you're more than a dollar value. So you're not paying for someone to tell you what to do. You're paying so that you can actually learn how to take care of yourself. And that's something that's priceless.